is a very important chapter in our IPCC level syllabus, and practically also this chapter is very important. What is the practical importance of this topic? I'll just give you a small example to understand it. See, I think you are all now tax students, so you can now tell me what is the last date for filing of IT returns by 30 September for companies and for tax audit SSEs. 30th September is the last date for filing of your IT returns. So normally on 30th September every year there will be a big mela at the office of a chartered accountant. It's a small mela that will happen. You will have, you can say, many people coming to your office, group of people chund. So you will have a mela at the office of a chartered accountant. So what happens normally is, there is a businessman who is doing crores of turnover. Okay, he knows that he has the responsibility to file his IT returns and also get it tax audited. Get it audited under the Income Tax Act and then file tax audit report and the IT returns with the income tax website. 30th September is the last date. He comes to the auditor's office on 29th September evening. 29th September evening. Okay, 30th is the last day. So this guy is very careful. He comes on 29th evening at 6 o'clock. That means the time at which normally the office of a chartered accountant will be closed. But he also knows that then the chartered accountant is going to work overtime because it is busy season for him. So he'll come at around 6 o'clock in the evening and he'll say, "Sir, this is the bank statement which I have. With this, prepare my trading account, profit and loss account, balance sheet, audit it, and file my returns by tomorrow evening." He's doing not thousands of rupees of turnover, he's doing crores of rupees of turnover. Initially, he'll not give you the bank statement. He'll come and say, "Sir, 30th September tax filing season, so that is why I came." So he wants you to build financial statements out of thin air. He comes on 29 and doesn't tell you that, "Sir, I have books of accounts, so please audit them and file them." He'll simply say, "Sir, tomorrow is the last date for filing of IT return, so I came to meet you because I want my IT returns to be filed." So as an auditor, you'll ask, "Sir, where are your financial statements? Give me a set of trading account, profit and loss account, balance sheet. You should have come to my office at least 2 weeks before so that I would have sent my articles assistants to your office to get the books of accounts audited and then you would have filed the IT return." He says, "No, I don't have any books of accounts." Now we will take out from the file bank statement. He'll say, "This is what I have. Take my bank statement. Please build my accounts out of this and get the returns filed." Just imagine, bank statement. Now, who maintains this bank statement actually? The banker. So, those transactions can only be explained by a banker. What debit it is, what credit it is, why the amount was credited, why the amount was debited. Banker knows his language. The client will also know, but he will also know only half of it or 3/4 of it because the transactions are not recorded in the way in which we understand. The transactions are recorded in the way the bankers understand. So now the client expects the chartered accountant to go through the bank statement and on his own to build the income statement, balance sheet out of it and then file it with the department. And few clients do it wantedly because they don't want the chartered accountant to go too deep into his business transactions and try to find where his weakness lies. You would understand? So purposefully they will come to you only on 29 so that he will not give that chartered accountant also time to think much and he would like to get his things done. I'll give you one more example. I had a client, not my client, my boss's client. So my boss means under whom I did my articleship. So whenever he has work, he'll say, "Pawan, I have some work, please go and complete it." So out of respect, and because he was my boss, I would always like to go and help him out. So there was a client who was into dairy farm business. He has about 500 buffaloes and they run a dairy farm. Their main business is, you can say, rearing buffaloes and selling milk. That is their main business. So now my sir tells me, go and meet him. He wants to file his returns. Now when I go and ask him, sir, do you have your income statement and balance sheet? He says, I don't have anything. I never had an accounts department. So I was the only person managing the business, so I did not have time to maintain books of accounts. Then he'll ask me to take a small notebook, a scribbling pad, and then he'll say, from 1st April to 30th September, I had 30 buffaloes. And on 1st October, 470 buffaloes were purchased. To give me timeline. From 1st April to 30th September, he had only 30 buffaloes. From 1st October, he has added, bank loan was sanctioned. Hence, out of that money, they have purchased few more, lot of buffaloes. 470 buffaloes were added. Then he would tell me, for feeding each buffalo, on an average, the cost would be 100 rupees per day. The feed cost, the medicine cost would be about 100 rupees per day. I think the government of India also is not sanctioning 100 rupees to feed a child in a school. True. The government budget is about 17 rupees, 18 rupees or 20 rupees, 10 rupees. So their budget is 100 rupees per buffalo per day. Feed and medicine cost. And then he will tell me how many liters of milk the buffalo is going to give on an average. He tells me each buffalo gives on an average 10 liters of milk per day. Morning, evening put together, it will give 10 liters of milk. That's it. Over. He'll say, I have about 50 workers whom I have brought from Chhattisgarh and I'll pay them 5,000 or 6,000 rupees per month as wages. That's it. And now with this information, he wants you to build the income statement, profit and loss account and balance sheet. And then you have to file it with the income tax department. How will you do it, boss? He gives you a timeline, he gives you how many liters of milk the buffalo is going to give, how many buffaloes were there up to 1st October and how many buffaloes were there after 1st October. On an average, he says it gives you 10 liters of milk. And he also tells you that sale price of milk was 40 rupees per liter. That he'll tell you. Because he knows the sale price. And most of the transactions are in cash. After getting this information, we start working on it and we prepare some income statement, balance sheet we prepare. Then we have a lot of questions in our mind. Because we know that there are a lot of missing figures. Then I asked him, sir, I'll come to your dairy farm once. He has not given me this information at a dairy farm. He has called me to a restaurant and while he was having a breakfast, he would give you this information. So I asked him, sir, I'll come to your dairy farm once and see what your business is. Now when I go there, I see that there is a lot of structure there. There's a shed, there's a building, there's an office building, there are some quarters for workers, lot of land leveling work has been done, lot of cement work has been done. There's a big motor, there's a big borewell, there are some machines for cutting grass. So we note down everything and we see everything we note down. There is a building, there is godown, there is a there are quarters for workers, there's a big bore, there's a big motor, there are few grass cutting machines, etc. They have a tempo vehicle to transport milk from one place to the other place. So we note down everything. Then we ask him, sir, at what cost have you purchased all these things? This is how we build the income statement, profit and loss account and balance sheet. Now, you ask me, sir, whatever you have prepared, is it absolutely right? I don't know, but it's only reasonably correct. I cannot say it is the exact income statement, exact P&L account, exact balance sheet I am preparing, because information is not available. But as chartered accountants, your client will expect you to work with incomplete information. That is what this chapter says, accounts from incomplete records. They will not come with complete income statement, complete balance sheet. You ask the client, sir, why are you not maintaining books of account? Then he will say, why should I come to you then? If I have everything ready, what is your job? So, and it is not wrong, because businessmen, they are busy with their business. They will keep track of some important information, and information which is not going to add value to them, they ignore them. That's it. So they feel it is not very important to maintain accounts, or they feel they can get it done by an accountant or by a chartered accountant when it is required. So as a chartered accountant, you will face many situations where you have to work with incomplete information. You will be given incomplete information, you will be given incomplete records, or we can say out of all the transactions, few transactions will be recorded, or few aspects of the transactions will be recorded, and an aspect of the transaction may not be recorded. Single entry. What does single entry mean? Normally a journal entry has, we call it as double entry system, no, one debit and one credit. Sometimes the businessman may maintain few records and they may ignore some other records. So as a chartered accountant in practice, you would definitely be required to have complete grip over this topic called as accounts from incomplete records or single entry. Now, you may not understand what I have been talking till now, but once you join your articleship, you will find that most of the time you are doing, you are completing incomplete records, and you are building financial statements out of incomplete records. That will be your main part. Okay. Now, in this chapter, we are going to discuss few topics. The first topic we are going to discuss is determination of profits. So when we have incomplete records, how to determine profits earned by a business during a period. The second topic would be completing double entry from single entry. So these are the two topics which we are going to deal in this particular chapter. The first part will be how to determine profits when incomplete records are maintained, and the second topic will be how to convert single entry into double entry, or to how to complete double entry when records are maintained under single entry system. How to build complete set of financial statements from incomplete information. Okay. So these are the two topics we are going to discuss in this chapter, accounts from incomplete records or single entry. We'll start with the first topic now, determination of profits. Now, the first question we are going to take up is, if a businessman, a sole proprietary concern or a partnership concern, if they are not maintaining, just switch it off. If they are not maintaining complete set of books of accounts, how are they going to determine the profits? If it's a sole proprietary concern or there is a partnership concern, they are not maintaining complete information, they are not maintaining accounts under double entry system, but they want to determine profits. I think yes. Why are financial statements prepared? Can you tell me the objectives of preparation of financial statements? The first objective would be to determine results of your operation. What is the results? Profits or losses from the activity of doing business. So we would like to know definitely the profits of the operation, the results of our operation. Now when complete financial statements are not maintained, when you don't have proper accounting system how are we going to determine the profits? This is the first topic we are going to discuss. If you are maintaining proper set of accounts, you have a computerized accounting system, Tally, Wings, you have some computerized accounting system, then we need not even learn this topic, because the system, when just press some buttons, you go to your profit and loss account, it will easily inform you what is the profit or loss for the period in which you have done the business. So now we don't have complete financial statements. We want to know how to calculate profits. What is this? What we are going to do is, we are going to determine profits by a method called as capital comparison. What are we going to do? We are going to learn a method called as capital comparison method of determination of profits. Now what is this capital comparison method? I'll just give you a small example to understand it. Now, Varshit starts a business. Listen to me carefully. Varshit starts a business in 2014. Deepavali. So, Shubhav sir, he starts a business. He invested 10 lakh rupees in his business. Some business he was doing. Forget about what business he was doing. He invested 10 lakh rupees in his business. Stop. He invested 10 lakh rupees in his business in 2014. His capital investment. For the next 10 years, he continued doing his business. Varshit was a man of lot of principles. He never withdrew even a single paisa out of the business as drawings. He never touched even a single rupee in the cash box of the business for the purpose of his personal requirements. He never withdrew even a single rupee. He also never introduced an additional rupee out of his pocket as capital. Did you understand? 2014, he invested how much in his business? 10 lakhs. For the next 10 years, he did his business, but during the next 10 years, what did he do? Never withdrew even a single rupee from his business as drawings, and never introduced a single rupee into his business as further capital. Okay. 2024, Varshit got tired of doing his business, and he felt there was some downtrend in his business, and he wanted to exit the business. In 2024, again, before Diwali, he sold away all the assets of the business. Whatever assets he had, land, building, stock, whatever assets he had, he sold away all assets, realized a lot of cash. Out of that, paid off all liabilities, outside liabilities. Creditors, bank overdraft, bank loans, whatever liabilities he had, he paid off all liabilities. He was left with 1 crore rupees at the end of the business. He was left with how much? There was 1 crore cash, and there were no claimants. Nobody was waiting for his money. That means entire money who could enjoy? Varshit could enjoy. Now, can you tell me how much profit did Varshit earn during these 10 years? Exactly 90 lakhs. Why 90 lakhs? He invested 10 lakhs and he has now taken back 1 crore. So the increase in his capital is due to only profits. That's it. You remember 2 conditions which I imposed on Varshit? What was the first condition? Never withdrew even a single rupee of money for his personal purposes, and he never introduced a single rupee as further capital. So in these conditions, the profit of Varshit was closing capital 1 crore, opening capital 10 lakhs, the profit was 90 lakhs. But it was subject to 2 conditions. What are the conditions? No drawings and no further capital introduced. Now suppose if there were drawings and if there was further capital introduced, then how will you determine profits? Write down. Under capital comparison method, under capital comparison method, profit is determined. Profit or you can say loss. Profit or loss is determined by comparing adjusted closing capital adjusted closing capital with opening capital. By comparing adjusted closing capital with opening capital. Now what is that adjusted closing capital? Write down. Adjusted closing capital is equal to closing balance of capital, add drawings, add interest on drawings, add interest on drawings. Interest on drawings will be there only for a partnership form. Normally in the case of a proprietor we don't have interest on drawings. He may have drawings, but normally there will be no interest on drawings. But in a partnership form we will have both drawing and partnership deed may provide that partners will be charged some interest on their drawings also. So add drawings, add interest on drawings, less further capital introduced, less interest on capital, less salary remuneration commission of the partner. This will be there only in the case of a partnership form. So please tell me, how do you calculate adjusted closing capital? You start with closing balance of capital. You should add back drawings, interest on drawings, subtract further capital reduced, subtract interest on capital, subtract if there is any salary, remuneration or commission which is allowed to the partner. What will you get? Adjusted closing capital. Now adjusted closing capital has to be compared with what? Opening capital, to calculate whether there are any profits or losses. Look at the board everyone. I want to determine profits earned between the period 1st January 2014 to 31st December 2014. During this period, I want to calculate the profits. During this period. Now, the capital balance on this date is called as closing capital. The capital balance on this date is called as the opening capital. But the closing capital would be affected by drawings during the period, interest on drawings during the period, further capital introduced during the period, interest on capital, salary, remuneration, commission. All these items are going to affect the capital, and then you arrive at closing capital. Opening capital, less drawings, less interest on drawings, add further capital, add interest on capital, add salary, remuneration, commission, add profit. What are you going to get? You are going to get closing capital. Just see the equation. Opening capital, less drawing, less interest on drawings, add further capital introduced. Further capital, it increases the capital balance. Add interest on capital, loss for the firm. Capital balance of the partner is going to increase. Hence add salary, remuneration, commission to which the partner is entitled to. It will also increases capital balance. And then profit. Profit is also going to increase the capital balance. That is how we arrive at the closing capital. So opening capital, we subtract drawings, we subtract interest on drawings, we add further capital, we add interest on capital, we add salary, remuneration, etc. If there are profits, we add it to arrive at the closing capital. Everybody understand? This is the relationship between the opening capital and the closing capital. So what are we doing now? How to calculate profit? We are saying find out something called as adjusted closing capital. Compare it with what? Opening capital. The balance is either profit or loss. Yes? No. Closing capital. What am I saying? Closing capital, add drawing. Closing capital, add interest on drawing. Closing capital, add, not add, subtract further capital. Subtract interest on capital. Subtract salary, remuneration and commission. Stop. What do you get? Adjusted closing capital. Then you compare it with what? Opening capital to arrive at profit. Okay. Now what we'll do is, first of all, let us rehearse the formula and then I'll show you a capital account to understand how this formula gives you the proper answer. Please tell me, how do you calculate profit under the adjusted capital method? You compare what with what? Lovely. Adjusted closing capital with opening capital. What is adjusted closing capital? You start with closing capital, add drawing, add interest on drawing, less further capital introduced, less interest on capital, less salary, remuneration, commission. You don't arrive at profits, you arrive at adjusted closing capital. Once you get adjusted closing capital, you have to compare it with opening capital. You will get profit or loss. If adjusted closing capital is more than opening capital, we have a profit. If adjusted closing capital is less than opening capital, then we have a loss. Write down that also in your notebook. If adjusted adjusted closing capital is more than opening capital, if adjusted closing capital is more than opening capital, there will be profits. There will be profits. If adjusted closing capital is less than opening capital, if adjusted closing capital is less than opening capital, there will be a loss. Now, I want you to help me in preparation of capital account of a proprietor, proprietor's capital account, and then I'll ask your help for preparation of capital account of a partner also. Now please tell me, where will you show the capital balance, opening capital balance of a proprietor? Credit side, what will I write? By balance brought down. What is this? Opening capital. If the owner introduces further capital during the year, what is entry you pass? Cash or bank account, debtor to capital account. If he introduces it in the form of an asset, we say asset account, debtor to capital account. By cash or bank. Further capital. If the owner withdraws money during the year from the business, what is the entry we pass? Drawings account, debtor to cash or bank account. Drawing account is closed by debiting it to the proprietor's capital account. Two drawings. Normally, in the case of a proprietary concern, we should not have interest on drawings and interest on capital. So let us eliminate temporarily interest on capital and interest on drawings in the case of a sole proprietary concern. Is it clear? Now, please tell me, where do you show profits? Profits. What is the entry for profits in the case of a sole proprietor? P&L account, debtor to capital account. By profit and loss account. Profit. Where do you show closing capital balance? To balance carried down. Closing capital. Now, suppose I don't know the profits. How will you determine it? Balancing figure. I'll prepare the capital account, fix opening capital, fix closing capital, fix the drawing figure, fix further capital. Automatically profit will be what? Balancing figure. Now just now we have learnt a method, no? Capital comparison method. Let us see the same logic, whether it is followed or not. We start with what? Closing capital. Add drawings less further capital. You don't have interest on drawings and you don't have interest on capital. Closing capital, add drawings less further capital. What do you get? Adjusted closing capital. Less opening capital. What do you get? Profits. So what are you doing under the adjusted capital method, under the capital comparison method? You are starting with closing capital, add drawings, less further capital. What do you get? Why are you doing less in that statement? Because it is on the opposite side, no? Closing capital, add drawings, less further capital. I get adjusted closing capital. Compare it with opening capital. If adjusted closing capital is more than opening capital, what do I get? Profit. If adjusted closing capital is less than opening capital, then we have a loss. Are you able to understand? Now, help me out in preparation of the capital account of a partner. I think same account I can use now because most of the things are same. Tell me what are the items I have to add now? Debit side, to interest on drawings. By interest on capital. By salary remuneration. This is also equal to further capital, no? This is how we prepare the capital account of a partner. Below drawings, I added interest on drawing. Below further capital, I added interest on capital. And salary remuneration, etc. is like further capital introduced by the partner till the time he withdraws it. Hence the amount is also credited to his capital account. Now, again, I want to know the profits of the partner. I want to know the share of the partner in profits. How will I do it? Balancing figure. Or, we have learned a method just now. Adjusted closing capital minus opening capital. Adjusted closing capital. How did you arrive? Closing capital. Add drawing. Add interest on drawing. Why did you add? See this account. Closing capital, drawing, interest on drawings are on the same side. So these three items are added. Then we subtracted further capital, interest on capital. We subtracted salary, remuneration and commission. What did you get? Adjusted closing capital. If you subtract opening capital, what do you get? Profit. I will show it in the form of a statement here itself so that you understand. Closing capital add interest on drawings less further capital less interest on capital less salary, remuneration, commission. What do I get? Adjusted closing capital less opening capital. What do I get now? Profit, or I'll say within brackets, loss. If the answer is in positive, then we have a profit. If the answer comes within brackets, then we have a loss. Now, compare that statement with this account and tell me whether you agree or not. Closing capital, add drawing, add interest on drawing. Why add? Because they are on the same side. Then we said less further capital because it is on the opposite side. Less interest on capital because again it is on the opposite side. Less salary, remuneration and commission. Again on the opposite side. What do you get? Adjusted closing capital. Less opening capital because it's again on the opposite side. Whatever is the balancing figure is profit or loss. Or remember the story. In the story I told you, Masjid never draws money, never introduces further capital. If he has done some drawing, if he has introduced some further capital, what should you do? Reverse the impact of drawings and reverse the impact of further capital on the closing balance of capital and then try to compare it with the opening capital. Did you understand? In the story I told, I put two conditions. One, he never draws. Second, he never introduces. Suppose if he has drawn money and he has introduced capital, what we should do? Reverse the impact on closing capital. Sir, you said incomplete records, but you are using a ledger account and you are explaining us how to calculate profits. Now please tell me, if you don't maintain accounting records, how will I get opening capital figure, closing capital figure first of all? How are we going to get the opening capital figure, closing capital figure? They are the starting point. No, we start with closing capital, add drawing, add interest on drawing, less further capital, less interest on capital, less salary, we say adjusted closing capital, then compare it to opening capital and then we say profit or loss. But how do you start with those capital balances first of all? That is the question. When I don't have proper accounting records, where will I get my opening capital figure, closing capital figure? Now, as they are speaking, the answer is correct. We have to compare assets and liabilities. Now, listen to me carefully. Suppose we are trying to determine profits of a period 1st January 2013 to 31st December 14. Wantedly I have taken 2 years gap. 1st January 2013 to 31st December 2014 is 2 years. The proprietor wants to know during these 2 years what is the profit I have earned. Capital balance on this date will be opening capital. The capital balance on this date will be closing capital. How will I determine first of all that? See, owner would know how much money he has been drawing for his personal purposes. Owner would know how much he has introduced as further capital. For that, records need not be maintained. Every month how much he has been using for his personal purposes, he would definitely keep a track of it. And he would also keep a track how much of additional capital he has introduced in the business. Because these are important transactions for which he will maintain a mental record, he will maintain some rough records. But how will you arrive at the opening capital figure and closing capital figure? Drawings, further capital, we can keep a track. But what about opening and closing capitals? So for this, what we have to do is, we have to prepare a statement of affairs, which is a memorandum balance sheet. Memorandum means rough balance sheet, not an exact balance sheet. Memorandum balance sheet, or we are going to prepare a statement of affairs on 1st January 2013. We are going to prepare a statement of affairs on 31st December 2014, and that statement of affairs will help you to calculate profits. I remember in CPT you would have learned fundamental accounting equation. What is it? Capital plus liabilities is equal to assets. So we are going to use that equation to arrive at the capital balances on 1st January 13 and 31st December 14. What is the equation we are going to use? Capital plus liabilities is equal to assets. Now, let us try to find out how are we going to calculate the assets. Now, on 1st January 2013, I want the asset balances. On 31st December 14, I want the asset balances. On a particular date, I want to prepare my balance sheet. Suppose on 31st December 14, I want to prepare a balance sheet. Statement of affairs, I'll say. On 31st December 14. Now complete the balance sheet. Normally we start with fixed assets. Land and building. You don't have land and building ledger account in your book. How will you arrive at the value? No market value. Definitely, if you ask the owner, when did you purchase land and building? What is the money you have spent on land and building? This is a significant transaction which took place. Even if it happened 50 years ago, the owner would remember for what value he purchased the land and how much he spent on construction of the building. If he has done some additions during the business, he would definitely remember that information in his mind. Even though he may not maintain an account, but he would definitely know what amount he has spent on purchasing land, construction of building. Land, I think you will have a registration document.
Yes, sir.
He may not maintain double entry records, but he would keep that registration document safely in a almirah. Because if he loses that, it is equal to losing his land. So he is going to definitely keep it in a safe. And that registration document, if you open, in that registration document, consideration paid to purchase the land will be given. For construction of building, he would remember how many lakhs of rupees he has spent, how many lakhs of rupees he has paid to a contractor to get his building constructed. So even though you don't have an account, it is possible to locate the value of land and building. So somehow using our logic, using our brain, we have arrived at land and building value. Machinery. You ask the proprietor about the machinery value, you definitely remember the year of purchase, month of purchase. You would remember how much he has paid to the supplier to get this machinery. Yes or no? Because it's a significant event which would have happened for him. And normally when a businessman starts his business, his concentration levels will be very, very high. You would remember how much he has spent for purchasing that machinery. So out of his information in the mind, he will be able to locate machinery value. Vehicles, he may not have an account, but he will have that invoice copy given by the showroom, which will be safely stored in an almirah for claiming warranty, guarantee. Yes or no? We all keep that safely in a birva, no? So that will be available. No. Stock of raw material, stock of work in progress, stock of finished goods. Records are not maintained. Go for physical counting. Do physical stock taking. You will come to arrive at the value of stock. Debtors. Now I'll ask you a basic question. Will any businessman lose track of the amount which he is going to collect from outsiders?
No, sir.
He may not maintain an account, but he would know how much has to come from which customer. Yes, this definitely is going to maintain a track. Bank balance. Very good. Cash balance. It will be available in the tijori, the locker. Open the locker, count the cash, you will arrive at the cash balance. Asset side is complete now. Without having any accounting records, we are able to build the asset side of the balance sheet. Now come to the liability side. Loans. Then we know the loans which he has to pay to outsiders. If he has taken a bank loan, would you remember how much he has to? If it is a bank loan, go to a bank, take a bank statement, loan statement. You come to arrive at the loan figure. Creditors. He will keep a track of what he has to receive and what he has to pay. I'll tell you, normally what businessmen will do is, as soon as they purchase goods, the supplier will, along with the goods, give him an invoice also. So they will keep the invoice in a file. Once it is paid, they will write paid, and then they will put the invoice in some other file. All the invoices which are not paid will be kept in a separate file. Invoices which have been paid will be kept in a separate file. So you just take that invoice file, that file where you have all the invoices which are not paid, you will get the figure of creditors. Now normally these are the liabilities, no? Outstanding expenses, all those things you would definitely be in a position to estimate. Now what is left now? Capital. Capital becomes the balancing figure. So what you have to do? Build a statement of affairs on 1st January 13, get opening capital figure. Build a statement of affairs on 31st December 14 and then calculate the closing capital figure. And then compare adjusted closing capital with opening capital. What is adjusted closing capital? Closing capital, add drawings, add interest on drawings, less other capital reduced, less interest on capital, less salary, remission or commission, you get adjusted closing capital. Compare adjusted closing capital with opening capital to arrive at profit. How will you get closing capital and opening capital figures? Build statement of affairs. On which day? On the opening day and also on the closing day. How to build? Just now I have seen. How to build the statement of affairs. You are going to use the fundamental accounting equation. Capital plus liabilities is equal to assets. Build the asset side. Calculate the liabilities. The balancing figure is nothing but opening capital and closing capital. Then do certain adjustments. You will arrive at the profits. Did you understand the entire process? Now let us start a problem. You don't have the textbooks, so please note down a problem. Tomorrow onwards, please bring module 3 of the textbook. Textbook, not the practice manual. Study material, module 3. Write down this problem. Assets and liabilities of Mr. X as on 31st December 2011 and 31st December 2012 are as follows. Assets and liabilities of Mr. X. Assets and liabilities of Mr. X as on 31st December 2011 and 31st December 2012 are as follows. Prepare a 3-column table. Particulars. 31st December 2011, 31st December 2012. Particulars 31st December 2011 and 31st December 2012. 3-column table. Are you all ready?
Yes,
Write down. Assets, underline. Assets, underline. Building. Building. 1 lakh and question mark. 1 lakh and question mark. Question mark in the 3rd column. 1 lakh rupees in 2011, 2012, question mark. Furniture. Furniture. 50,000 and question mark. Furniture 50,000 and question mark. stock 1,20,000 and 2,70,000. Stock figures are given for both the opening date and the closing date. 1,20,000 and 2,70,000. Next, sundry debtors. Sundry debtors. 40,000 and 90,000. Sundry debtors 40,000 and 90,000. Cash at bank. Cash at bank 70,000 and 85,000. Cash at bank 70,000 and 85,000. Cash in hand 1,200 and 3,200. Cash in hand 1,200 and 3,200. Over assets, liabilities underlying. Liabilities underlying. Loans. Loans 1,80,000. Loans 1,80,000. Sundry creditors 40,000 and 70,000. Sundry creditors 40,000 and 70,000. That's it. This is the information given to you. Paragraph now. Write on the next paragraph. It was decided to depreciate building by 2.5%. It was decided to depreciate building by 2.5%. Furniture by 10%. Tell me, why is this information given? We have to calculate the closing balance of building and closing WDV of the furniture. Full stop. Continue the paragraph. Furniture by 10%. Continue. One life insurance policy. One life insurance policy of the proprietor matured during the period. One life insurance policy of the proprietor matured during the period. And the amount was retained in the business. And the amount was retained in the business, 40,000 rupees. And the amount was retained in the business, 40,000 rupees. Now classify this as a drawing or a further capital. What is it? Is it drawing or further capital introduced by the owner? Personal life insurance policy, it matured, the money came into the bank account of the business, the owner did not withdraw money for his personal purpose, even though it was his personal money. Personal life insurance, the insurance policy matures, money comes to the bank account of the business and he is not taking out that money for his personal purpose. He has used that money also for the business purpose. Normally, sole proprietor, one account for his business and also for himself, no. So money came into his business bank account and he did not withdraw the money for his personal purposes. He let the money be used in the business. So it is equal to what? Further capital introduced by the owner. Continue. Full stop. Continue. Proprietor took 2,000 per month for meeting family expenses. The proprietor took 2,000 per month for his family business. So for his family expenses, not business. For his family expenses. Full stop. What is it? Drawing. 2,000 per month for how many months? 12 months. 24,000. Now with this information we are required to calculate profit earned between the period 31st December 2011 and 31st December 2012. Can you do it? Please tell me how will you do it? First of all, we have to prepare statement of affairs on both 31st December 2011 and 31st December 2012. Arrive at closing capital and opening capital. Before we calculate profit, we have to make some adjustments to the closing capital. Let us start first. Write down statement of affairs. Statement of affairs. December 11, 31st December 12, 31st December 11, 31st December 12. Assets, liabilities. Tell me the asset which we have. Building. Are you all with me? First of all, note down the format. This is illustration number 1 from your ICI textbook. Module 3, chapter 10. Wait, don't be in a hurry. Building. How much was the value on 31st December 2011? Tell me what is the value of building on 31st December 2012? Depreciated by 2.5%. On this 1 lakh, depreciated by 2.5%. How much will it be? Take calculators. Press on button. 1 lakh minus 2.5%. 97,500. For this, do you want a working note? If you want, prepare it on your own. Building 1 lakh minus 2.5%, 97,500. Next, after building, furniture, how much is the value? 50,000. Now again press on button on your calculator. Type 50,000 minus, what is the depreciation percentage? What is the depreciation percentage? 10%. 50,000 minus 10%, how much is it? 40? 45,000. Were there any additions to the furniture during the year? No. There was only depreciation. Next, what is the next asset given to you? Stock. 1,20,000 and 2,70,000. Next, debtors. 40,000 and 90,000. Listen to me carefully. If you take debtors after bad debts, you will get profits after bad debts. Finally, if you take debtors before bad debts, then you will get profits before bad debts. Next, bank. Bank balance. Tell me how much is the bank balance? 70,000 and 85,000. Cash balance 1,200, 3,200. Capital. Tell me capital. Question mark and question mark. Question mark plus question mark is a big question mark. Next. Loans. How much is the loan? 1 lakh and 80,000. Creditors. 40,000 and all this information was given in the problem. Now we have to run after those question marks. Opening capital and closing capital. How do you find it? Total the asset side first. Asset side is complete. Harish, just go and follow this one. Calculate the capital balance as a balancing figure now. Calculate the opening balance of capital and the closing balance of capital. 2 lakh and is it capital balance or total of assets? Total of assets, please tell me. 3,81,200. 5 lakh. Which of these is 5,90,700. Now to get the opening capital and the closing capital. This is the opening capital and this is the closing capital. But the problem did not ask us to calculate capital balances. The problem wants us to calculate the profits earned by Mr. X during this period. Yes. So how do we now calculate the profits? Write down calculation of adjusted closing capital. Listen to me carefully. If there was no drawing, if there was no further capital, if there was no interest on capital, the difference between this and this increase in capital can be explained only by profits. But we know that between this date and this date there have been some drawings. We know that there have been some further capital introduced. Hence, the difference between this and this cannot be considered as profits. So do some adjustments. Write down calculation of adjusted closing capital. Working note. Not working note, it's part of solution only. Calculation of adjusted closing capital. Particulars. Rupees. Closing capital. What is the closing capital figure? 4 lakh 40,700. 4 lakh 40,700. Now what should I do? What are the adjustments I have to do to closing capital? Add drawings, add interest on drawings, less further capital, less interest on capital, less salary remuneration. So you have to add drawings. Given in the problem 2,000 per month into 12 months. We don't have interest on drawings in this problem. Do we have some further capital introduced? Yes. Less. Adjusted closing capital, how much is it? 4,24,700. We have calculated this closing capital now. Now, next statement, calculation of profits. Calculation of profits. Adjusted closing capital 4,24,700 less opening capital from the statement of affairs. How much is it? 2 lakh Now, sir, this is so easy. Does it have practical relevance? Yes, many more situations. Suppose you study very well and you write the Group 1 exams, IAS exams, IRS exams, Indian Revenue Service. You get selected for IRS. That means you become Deputy Commissioner of Income Tax, Joint Commissioner of Income Tax. You will be conducting raids on big businessmen, on politicians, on leaders. Now, you would be required, listen to me, you would be required to ascertain the profits earned by that man, which are not disclosed to the government of India, and calculate tax on it, and try to recover it along with interest, penalty, etc., etc. Now, if you ask him, will he give you complete set of financial statement? No. Again, you would have to use this technique. List down all the assets of the leader. List down all his liabilities. Calculate his net worth before becoming an MP and after becoming an MP. Different. Public money eaten away. And penalize him. That is a practical relevance. Okay, let us do one more problem.